Welcome to the AR Performance Squash Advantage, hosted by me, Ahad Raza, a former PSA touring pro turned elite performance mentor and coach. I break down tactics, technique, fitness, and mindset by analyzing players from the past and present, both men and women. I aspire to teach, empower, and guide transformation. Let's get started. What's up, everyone? Today we're going to dive into some more tactics, and specifically I'm going to talk about the 1-2 punch combo. I don't know if this is an official phrase, but I use it because it makes sense to me. It's like in boxing, you see boxers and they usually have, like they'll give a jab and then they'll go for a bigger punch, a hook or an uppercut or something like that. So you're softening up your opponent with one, you're testing them, and then you're going for the bigger blow. Let me tell you a little bit more what I mean when I say this. The 1-2 punch can be used anywhere, anytime, with any shot. All it means is that you're working with combinations of plays. So when I think about John Khan, for example, and I'll link to the video that I've shared this, he would play the drop from the back of the court, and then he would push up on the tee, and then he would hunt for a volley. You can play a good length, look to step up on the tee and volley that next shot because you're forcing a loose ball from your opponent. Whatever your 1-2 punch combo is, it comes down to whatever your strengths are, whatever the patterns of play are that you like to play with. But it's about identifying your super weapon. It's about identifying the thing that you do really well, the shot that you hit really well, and then crafting your play around that. Obviously, the better you get, the higher level you get, you need to be able to create these 1-2 punch combos from different areas. But the premise of this whole thing is to apply pressure and then hunt for the volley. Apply pressure and then hunt for the volley. The one critical thing I'm going to mention now is that we must respect our opponent's shot if they hit a good enough defensive ball. And I talked about this in a previous video, but the idea is if you hit a really nice drop shot into that front left corner, you push up on the tee because you're expecting your opponent to fluff up a loose ball. If they end up hitting a nice lob, you're not trying to leap up in the air, falling backwards, trying to volley that ball, because what that's going to do is it's actually going to put you in a worse position. You want to respect that shot, let go of the attack that you had in your mind, reset and come back to the rally. Think of that attack as a jab. And then you do it again in the defend well, it's another jab. Eventually, by hitting enough jabs, your opponent will start wavering and shaking and falter. So that's when it becomes a mental game and a game of patience. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a clip with Shabana and Nick Matthew. And I'm going to play this in real time first. Then we're going to check it out in slow-mo at half speed. And then I'm going to break it down and the different components of this combo that we're talking about after that. So here we go. I'm going to start. The clip's going to start in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1, and go. Okay, that was real speed. For anyone who doesn't know, Shabana is the gentleman who was controlling that rally in the red shirt. Nick Matthew is the other gentleman in the white shirt. So check this out. You're going to watch it in half speed slow motion now. I'd encourage you to make your notes, write down any points, anything that you see about what he's doing and what combo he's using in this case. Because these guys are of such a high level and they can retrieve so effectively, even when the ball's been hit well, this is actually a 3-shot combo. But the idea still stands. So check it out. I'm going to play it now and you're going to start in about a second. There it is. Let's break that down in slow-mo. Compare your notes to what we're going to talk about here. Step 1, it's the setup. The shot that Shabana hit is that he's got Nick Matthew under some pressure in that back left corner. Now, I'll point out a couple of things just because they're so apparent, because Shabana is he's the maestro, he's a master. Look at his position. He's neutral on the tee because he respects the fact that Nick Matthew can hit straight or cross. But check out his ready position. His racket is here. It's ready. From here, he can go in any direction. It's not down, waiting and hanging, dangling by his feet. So he's ready. But that's the setup. Good length. Getting Nick Matthew in that back corner. Nick Matthew uses height to defend, which is good to give himself time, but it's not good enough. And here's the first blow. Nick Matthew used height effectively in that he's given himself time to get back to the tee, but the ball is still pretty loose and it's coming down on Shabana's racket like one step off the tee. So now Shabana puts the first blow in. What's the first blow? He plays that straight volley drop. Now you might be thinking, hold on, that's super loose. Well, yeah, maybe it's not the best volley drop, but again, this goes back to that combo idea. Shabana is not trying to hit an outright winner from that position. That ball was pretty high. Not easy to cut the ball down from that high and hit a nick. So he's gone here to try to get this ball coming into the side wall. He could have technically gone for that cross-court nick by coming down, hitting it here, and then trying to catch that nick. But then the risk he runs is that if he mishits that ball's coming straight back at him. And because Nick Matthew gave himself time to get back to the tee, if he mishits that even a little bit, high chances of a stroke because that ball is going to come back at him. So what does he do? He takes the higher percentage, lower risk shot, and he hits that front wall, floor, to try to get it tighter to the side wall. So let's see how that unfolds. And you see by the time Nick Matthew's getting there, that ball is actually fairly tight to the side wall. It's actually, I correct myself, it's not a drop per se, it's like a half drop / kill. So high percentage, well above the tin, limited chances of actually hitting the tin from that position. Now, Nick Matthew plays the ball. What does Shabana do? He's hunting to complete a 1-2 punch combo. His racket's there. He sees the ball coming to the left side of the court, which is his forehand. He's getting his racket ready. And hunting. Look at that volley. Nick Matthews still not at the tee. Shabana's jumping on that volley. Hits that nice drive. Why does he hit a straight drive? Nick Matthew hit the ball from the mid right. This back left corner is one of the largest areas in the court. Now, if Shabana had hit a slightly shorter drop shot, Nick Matthew would have been in the front right, and then the diagonal would 100% have been the longest length in the court that Nick Matthew would have had to cover. So that could be another 1-2 punch combo. Shabana played that low risk, high pressure drop / kill into the sidewall. And then he's following up the volley because he's expecting the cross court from Nick Matthew. From this position, Nick Matthew is not really going to hit a straight drive because he's standing right there. The ball's going to come back at him. So chances are he's going to either go short from there. Maybe he hits a boast if he's not under a lot of pressure to move Shabana, but the best thing would be to hit a nice wide cross court or even lift that ball if he's under a lot of pressure. So back at this, Shabana is hunting to complete that second shot. So this is shot number 2, straight drive. Nick Matthews under pressure. He's coming to get that ball. The key here when you hit that straight drive is that you got to hit a clean length. This could actually backfire against Shabana. If he does not hit a clean length, he hits front wall, side wall, that ball is going to pop out into the middle, and Nick Matthew might actually get a stroke. So it's really critical when you're going for this that you hit through your shot. You're not just taking a snap at the ball because that ball is going to go everywhere. You want to hit through it, and then you're going to get that line through the court. So now you got Nick Matthew chasing, and Shabana's got that nice line. For most players, they would not be able to retrieve that ball that Nick Matthew just got. And you see he had to do a lot of work to get there. Most players would be slower, and that ball would be fading into that back corner. Now, I already mentioned one thing. You have to hit through the ball to get that line, because the last thing you want is to catch that side wall. The other thing you want to be careful of is some people get really excited. They're like, oh, I got this loose ball and I'm just going to crush it. Well, you might go crush it, but then that ball is going to come flying off the back glass, which totally defeats the purpose of your second shot, which should be potentially at a lower level, the finishing shot. So what you want to do is you want to aim for the first bounce somewhere in the service box or just behind the service box, depending on how high or low and hard you've hit it. But the key target is that second bounce. You want it to be right in that back nick. You don't want that ball popping off the back wall, because then you give your opponent a chance to get it. So those are the critical elements when you're going for that volley. Hit through and try to get the second bounce behind the back, before, just at that back glass nick, or right before it. You don't want it popping off. Because Nick Matthews is a beast, he got the ball and he actually defended it. Not the tightest defense, but he used height, as you can see, and he's actually giving himself time to get back to the tee. But from here, Shabana has endless options, and you see his racket's nice and ready. Look at that prep. Like, from that swing, he could hit a cross-court nick, a straight kill, a straight drive, a straight drop, cross drive, like anything. And Amar Shabana's forehand is deadly. So Nick Matthew has a bunch of options he has to cover. And this goes back to that idea of patterns and breaking patterns. If Amar Shabana had only ever shown that he hits the ball deep from here, Nick Matthew would just stand back because he knows the ball's coming back. But because Amar Shabana has many shot options from this position, Nick Matthew has to push up, and he's weary because he doesn't know where Shabana's going to hit the ball. And you see Nick Matthew splitting. What does Shabana do? He continues to hunt, number one, and then he probably broke a pattern. He's gone short several times in this match. And see, Nick Matthews' first step is moving this way because he's kind of going forward and across, but then Shabana fakes him out and actually hits deep. And you see Nick Matthew is going this way, and then he has to adjust and then turn around and go. But that ball is well past him and is dead in the back. So there you have it. Patterns, breaking patterns, fundamental of everything. 1-2 punch combo possibly becomes a third punch combo depending on what level you're playing at, the accuracy of your shot, where your opponent is, how fast they are, all of those things. The key that I wanted to share with you today was good length, hunt for the volley, put that ball in. It doesn't need to be perfect, as you saw from Shabana. It could be a lower risk, high reward shot that's getting tight to the sidewall, and then you hunt that next shot after that. So the first punch, you could even say, you could have endless punches really, but you could say that the first punch is that volley drop or straight kill. Second one is that straight volley drive that Shabana hit. You could say 3 shots if you count the first length, then the volley drop, then the volley drive. And then in this case, because Nick Matthews is a beast, he picked up that straight drive. So now you're talking 4 shots. So that just goes to show you, the better you get, the more patient you have to become, because even if you're hitting really good balls, your opponent's going to get them. But that's where you got to be relentless and continue to hunt and apply that pressure, unless your opponent hits a good enough defense, in which case you need to respect the shot, reset the rally, and then come again from a clean slate. That's the key. And then from a technical standpoint, hitting through that ball on the volley straight drive is critical. Finding your target in the back corner, second bounce before the back wall, critical. When you're taking the ball in on the volley drops or the kills, it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be a nick. Look at your angles. If you have a big angle and you can go for a cross-court nick or a nick on the straight drop, go for it. If you don't have the angle, really think about hitting that ball so it goes front wall, floor, side wall, and it gets stuck to the side wall, because that's how you're going to squeeze errors out of your opponent. As always, I hope you found a lot of value in this. Please give it the thumbs up and like it, share a comment. I'd love to hear from you if you have questions, if you have any feedback, and subscribe to the channel. If you are finding value and you know others who enjoy the game, please share the videos and the channel with them as well. I would appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.